My name's Jordan Serena. I'm the hitting director for Rogue Baseball Performance. I've been in this role for almost 10 years now. About 2016, I started working as a hitting director from Parker, Colorado. Born and raised in Parker, went to Chaparral High School, and then went to Columbia University in New York City, and then ended up getting drafted by the Angels and in the 35th round, playing 3 years with them all the way up until about Double A. So pretty blessed background as far as baseball goes, and I was able to get a good education too, and play baseball at the same time. Are there any coaches or periods of time in your career that have impacted your coaching philosophies? Two coaches kind of immediately come to mind there. Coach Steve Eaton was the coach at Chaparral High School for 1 year, but he was my older brother's coach as well, so I was around him a fair amount kind of as a young player. He's just kind of an old school. I'm kind of a harder type of dude that'll be tough on you, to tell you the truth, but also like a pretty, a good man, a loving man. And that's always a good thing to have kind of as a baseball coach, and that teaches you, especially at a young age when you're under the influence of people like that so often. Like, baseball coaches have a pretty big impact on the players that they're around. If you're around somebody that can hold you accountable, but also like realize when to have certain tones with you, when to talk to you about stuff, or let a player be mad, that he had a great feel for that. And he just knew the game extremely well, so was able to teach me that. And just that 1 year, a lot of stuff I learned from him. And then he passed the torch to Tony Persichino, who's also an awesome coach of mine. Just passionate at him. He kind of really liked what he was doing. Loved baseball a lot, so I just remember that of him. And then my college coach is probably my favorite all-time coach, Coach Brett Peretti. He's still the coach at Columbia University. I'd run through a wall to this day. Still like partially scared of him in a good way, respectfully scared of him. Me and my buddies from college still always kind of chat about that with him, part of his charm. But he's an awesome guy. Still, we'll call him up and chat with him from time to time. And we'll call him, I still feel like I'm a freshman in college, just learning who he is. But he's awesome to talk to. So that's kind of the best three guys I could think of. How has your baseball career shaped your view on the game and how it should be taught? So I approached this question in a very different way than most coaches. Like, my career didn't work out the way that it should have, and I think a lot of that was because of how I trained. It left big holes, so I used that knowledge of my career to not coach guys to do a lot of the things that I was doing. I try to approach coaching that way, like the way I didn't quite work. What didn't I do well, and what should I pass on to guys, and what shouldn't I pass on to guys, where I feel like a lot of coaches take every single thing that they did and just pass it straight on, and are kind of closed-minded to other stuff that might have helped them when they played, but they just don't want to hear it because they only kind of pass on what they think. Describe the kinds of players you were looking for. This is a good question. A lot of guys get into coaching and they think of kinds of players as like skill levels. I want the players that will engage with the coach, and that's kind of easy to say sometimes and maybe cliche, but a lot of guys go through training and go through teams, and they don't really like pick the brain of the people that are teaching them. They don't take things that they're confused about to coaches. So I like working with players that are curious about their career. I have a saying, I said no NPCs. It's a video game saying, but it means no non-player characters. So I like the guys that don't have to be prompted to do things a lot. I like the guys that take the initiative and come to me, maybe disagree with me at times, and maybe say, why do we do this? Why do we do this? So I like those guys the best. Any skill level, if that guy comes, that's my favorite guy to work with. So hitting scenario, high school players looking to convert singles to more extra base hits. Every single hitter says that to me, so this is a good scenario. What is the general process for that athlete to reach his goal? So our general philosophy just for hitting will answer this question perfectly. We tell guys we need to hit the ball hard and hit the ball in the air, kind of in that order. If you can concentrate first on hitting it hard, you'll do really well. Whether it's high, low, you'll eventually hitting it hard. It's going to be at a pretty good angle that you're pretty productive. Getting up to the high school varsity level and definitely into college and definitely into professional baseball, you'll be able to hit it out of the infield where the five guys in front of you can't catch it. Hear that buzzword, launch angle tossed around a lot. We're hitting it too low, and at infielders, those guys catch 95+% of those balls and throw them to first for an out. So we like to get it over the infield where we can produce into the outfield. We can produce over the fence if we have that kind of power. But bare minimum, even guys with not that much power can get it over the infield into the gap and shoot a gap for a double. So that'd be the best way to kind of, produce more, get a higher OPS, which is what most coaches look at now for production. Singles count the same as a home run and a batting average, so we like to look at OPS to see like how many actual bases you produce and how much you get on base to be a run. So that's production to us on the hitting side. What is your approach when it comes to helping an athlete get to the next level? Baseball really is kind of exponentially on the pitching side against hitters getting kind of exponentially better. And so these guys need to be prepared kind of day one into college for the more movement, the more speed that college pitchers continually pick up, and to have a shot at being in that lineup in their freshman spring, they need to be pre-prepared for that. So we like to put them in that situation a lot, meaning we get them on a nice big eye pitch machine that we have and put tough pitches on them. Sometimes, not all the time, there's time and place for everything. We also do a lot of dry work, movement work with different tools. We hit flips, we'll hit tee, we do everything. So you got to be wide in your toolbox to help guys prepare at the next level, and just making sure guys understand that it becomes an art eventually. Like if you spend only time on your swing, that pitcher's going to tear you up because that pitcher's on the mound trying to get you out, and if you're in the box worried about your swing, you're kind of at a disadvantage already. So there's an art there of competition, making sure you're on time, making sure you can swing at what you want to swing at. That's what the next level requires, and then pitchers get better every single day, probably faster than hitters at this point, so we're kind of in an uphill battle in that sense. So adapting to different players that are coming through can be challenging. Where do you look to continue to learn as a coach and mentor, or is it mainly experience-based? You should always be looking to learn, and we specifically look to recruit coaches that are looking to learn and understand that you should be that way kind of the rest of your life, in all phases of your life for that matter. That's something we teach our players too, like always be learning. That's how you get top level of baseball. It's how you get the top level of life. So as you experience things, you learn quicker than you would if you just heard it from somebody or read it in a book. So experience over time kind of improves your learning ability if you're open to it. So you run into different players that, some guys don't like to be spoken to. Some guys don't like coaches for whatever reason. Some guys need to be spoken to a lot. And so asking a lot of questions is kind of one thing I've really gotten used to as a coach over the years. Instead of going to coach guys right away, I try to ask them like at least 10, 15 questions among the first time I meet them to learn about them first and get a better idea for them. I feel like a lot of coaches just jump into like telling guys stuff, and that doesn't receive well with a lot of players who don't feel trust from you. They need to feel that you've learned something about them and that you can be knowledgeable about them first before they want to listen to something. So I think just doing that is a way that makes it easy to learn over time because you're constantly naturally asking questions anyway. So what technologies do you use on a daily basis to help your athletes excel in your specific area of teaching? So I'm doing hitting, so we use a HitTrax a fair amount. Exit velocity, launch angle, yada yada, quote unquote. So that's all great. I really like a lot that HitTrax will pair a video each time you strike a ball. It'll take the video, pair that video, so I can kind of go back through, see which ones were hit decent, where they were hit, and check that video, check this video, check that video. I don't do that a whole lot with players super consistently. We'll use the video as a reference mid-session, after the session, but it's not my opinion that players need to constantly be evaluating video. That's a job for coaches, and then it's coach's job to take what is needed to the player and simplify and just make them hit good. So I tell players all the time, it's your job to hit well. It's my job to know the information. If you need some of the information to hit well, we'll get it to you. But we're not doing constant video analysis with guys. We use blast motion sensors as well for bat speed. More speed is good. That measures an attack angle too. So you got guys that go too steep down through it or too steep high through it, and we want to be kind of nice and level, slightly up through the ball, so that blast sensor will measure that a little bit. And then, like I said, the bat speed. So those are the two main technologies on the hitting side that we use. We also use an app called Velo Beam to track our data across this app. It's going to hold kind of everything, regular game stats, anything from the cage, anything that we can make up like a QPA type stat or hard hit ball during practice. So we'll keep all that kind of stuff and track it across time and be able to show players, hey, this is how much you showed up, this is where you got a lot better. So the technology's great. At the end of the day, guys still need to be able to step in between the lines and dominate a baseball game to play at a high level, and that matters the most. But we like to supplement what guys are doing with awesome training features to help them get to that place. So what makes Rogue the premier baseball program in Colorado? We believe that we spend a lot of time talking about baseball with each other and are very good at being organized about what we're teaching guys, being consistent in attitudes on the field, in off the field behavior stuff. We're very consistent across the board with all that, and I think that's where we excel, is we have a plan and a reason for most of our stuff, right? It's not slapped together, it's not show up at game time, it's not players flipping each other in the cage before the game and see how we play. We've got a lot of stuff tracked over time to make sure we're doing the right things. We're tracking innings, so I think we just have a massive plan at all times and a reason for doing things, and are very good with communication, and I think that's where we excel. We do want to expand a little. We're getting some more youth teams, potentially one or two more at each high school level over time if we have the players and coaches for it, but we'll never expand so fast that we start losing quality. Those are the reasons why we feel we're the best in the state, and it's tough to get that out when we do want to remain small, because it's the more people that know you, it's better, but we're trying to reach more people in other ways, using the internet, using some education devices and things of that nature. So there's things brewing around here. That's kind of why we think we're ahead of the pack in that aspect.